kit will arrive in a box that measures 4 inches by 5 inches by 12 inches. The serial number for the unit is included on the exterior of the box. To open the box, use a sharp knife, cut the packing tape. This is what it should see when you first open the box. Set that aside. There's a power cord. This box is the CM2 gateway unit. This contains a cellular modem that transmits your tank level information to your app and will provide all the information you need from that. Inside the box is packed the 9071 sensor along with a screw installation kit, a 2-inch bung adapter for your oil tank, and a hardware kit to install the CM2 gateway onto a wall of your choice. It has to be near a power outlet. So that's what comes in the box. Let's get started with the installation. The first step is to attach the mounting brackets to the back of the CM2 gateway. It includes 4 stainless steel mounting brackets with hardware to attach the brackets to the unit. And these go in the back into these 4 mounting holes. These can be mounted in either orientation, going straight up and down or off to the side. It doesn't really matter. So this is where the Phillips head screwdriver comes into play. The next step is to pick a location that's out of the way, preferably on the first floor of your home where the cell signal will be better, and near an electrical outlet. I've chosen this corner of my laundry room for where I'm going to place my gateway. In this particular installation, I'm using Torx screws with a drill driver. You can use anything you'd like, Velcro, you can use screws, whatever works for you. Basically, you want to just put it someplace where it's going to be out of the way, where it can get decent signal. Okay, and then the last step for the gateway installation is to plug it in and make sure you have cell service. So I'm going to plug it in, and I'll move the camera so you can see what you're looking for. You open the front cover, you can see inside the unit. Up in the top right, there are some lights that are going to turn on. So I'm going to plug this in, and you'll see the startup. This is the power light, this is the processor, and it's going through its startup sequence. This takes only about 30 seconds. and it'll tell you when the unit is online and that you have a good cell signal. So in this particular case, the blue light flashing, you'll see it's on only for a second and then it goes off for 2 seconds. When that changes, when that light is on for 2 seconds and then off only for a second, or flashing quickly like this, but on most of the time, that means you have a good cell signal. The last phase is going to get the time from the network, and at this point, the gateway is ready to go. You can close the door, and we're only going to come back here. Okay, the scene has changed a little bit here. Now we are at our oil tank in our basement, and we're going to begin the installation process. Okay, so a few things here. First of all, these oil tanks typically come equipped with some type of a gauge where you can read how much fuel is in the tank when you come and look at it. You can see at this point, this tank is empty. It's going to get filled tomorrow with fuel. So there's a fill pipe, there's a vent pipe, and then typically there are 1 or 2, maybe even more bungs. These are called bungs, B-U-N-G, on the top of the tank. We're going to use one of these bungs for our installation, and we have a choice of which one we can use. Now, if I were to choose on this tank, I think I would choose this one, and the reason being is the sensor that reads how much fuel is in the tank sends an ultrasonic signal down to the oil. If there's any object that's interfering with that signal, then you won't get accurate readings consistently. So these gauges typically have a float arm that goes up and down like this. And I don't know if this float arm is going this way or if it's going this way. So in order to avoid that, I'm going to use this bung. And so that bung will point down towards the bottom of the tank and give me an accurate reading. So this might be the most strenuous part of the installation, is removing these bungs. Sometimes these can be really tough. So you need a good pipe wrench. If you don't have one, you can rent them at local rental agencies. They typically have them with huge handles. Or you can use a pipe on the end of this one. This particular tank, it's been operated on, so it's pretty loose and I can get this off. So we're going to first remove the bung and set it aside. Okay. All right, so we'll put this over here for safekeeping. We don't want it to go anywhere. The next step is to install the adapter for the 9071 sensor. This adapter is included. It's made out of a glass-infused polymer, and it's pretty rugged. Something to remember, very important, never leave openings on the tank when you're away from it. The reason is that if somebody comes and fills this tank and you don't have all these holes plugged up, what's going to happen is the tank needs to pressurize. That's what tells the filling agent when to stop the flow. And so what's going to happen is the oil will start gushing out of the top of the tank and it could be disastrous. This will never happen as long as you're doing it and they're not filling the tank while you're doing it. So it's not dangerous, but you have to be cognizant that it can cause a problem. Now this adapter doesn't have to be really tight, but you want to make sure it's not going to fall out and it's not going to come loose. So this one is going to go a few more turns. That's it. And that's far enough. So the next step is to take our sensor and the screws that come with the sensor and mount that on top of this adapter. Now you can spin this if you'd like it facing out. It's really not important. It can operate in any, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit twisted. So we take the 2 screws that came with the kit. There's a gasket, you'll notice, on the bottom of the sensor. You put the screws through the top over here, and they'll go into holes that are pre-drilled in the bung adapter. Okay? These don't have to be really tight. They just have to be snug enough to keep this in position while the tank is being filled so it doesn't pop out. You screw it in until it's compressing that foam gasket just a little bit, and that's more than adequate. Okay, so you can see it moves a little bit, but not much. And this is ready to go.